Okay, we create our island in previous tutorial. So right now I want to create some water to this and maybe rocks around to add additional effect. So notice we have objects, we have a text, terrain, plants, and we also have rocks and clouds. So I want to go to use these rocks. It's similar to the plant. I just needed right click with my mouse and I can access all this collection of the rocks. And I'm going to select different fall stones. So just let's go select, and you notice right here rock is created and placed for us. So I can select the rock and change position. So let's go ahead, increase a little bit in size. And I'll just put it right on the side. Let's add a few more rocks. Now, because the rocks are already selected, when I just again left click, it will have my previous selection and allowed me to take the rock and create it. So I'm going to put it one more right here. And let's create one even larger size. And I'll just go ahead and maybe put one on the back somewhere right around there. Okay, maybe, just move slightly out. Okay, and we can go ahead and create a few more rocks. Again, you can just drag them, or remember, if you use your drop down, the left click will just place objects and stop as it detecting collision. And if you right click, it's a smart, so it's drop and it's actually try to match the angle of the object below. That's sometimes very nice. Go put it more right there. And let's put one more. But here's interesting. So I'm putting one maybe rock very close. And you notice they have a little bit different textures between one rocks and another. Like right here, maybe I want to add, maybe even on top, I want to add some kind of blend in with the texture. So we can do this by selecting Meta Blob, right click, copy material. We select this rock we wanted, right click and paste material. So in this case, we can paste same material as we have it with our other rock. So you can copy and paste those materials. By the way, as we work along on this application, it is very important and it's very good practice to go ahead, click File, and save your work. You can also save as a snapshot, so you can go between changes you created, or enable other after-save or other options in other versions. But for now, if you just go ahead and save your work, this will be a very good decision to do. Okay, after saving, I think we have plenty of details at this point to create it. So let's go add water. And you notice right here, we already have the water layer selected. If not, just right click and from Infinity Ground Plane, just select water. And you notice water layer is added. We have a sea material, which we'll go ahead and keep for now. And these materials will work very well with some foam and other effect. Notice one thing, if I go increase, in some cases what's happening, okay, you will have this effect. So notice your camera is going up. And by default, what's happening are your main camera have it lock set on a height. So if you need it, just disable this lock height and this camera will be staying. And besides, if you do this and you go way above, you can have it almost like underwater scenery created. Okay, let's go take back our water, and I'm just maybe set around this layer right here. You can experiment with how high you want it. But one thing to remember, if you go too low, because the foam will detect under, you have it a very kind of wide and shallow look. So you want to increase slightly up. So you have some different. And of course, if you go with the water, you can always go in the foam and just take a little bit down. So it will be a little bit clearer. You can play around. Don't worry about too much on details. How I say, we will look a little bit more as we progress with this. Right now, these tutorials just help you dive in and kind of play around, have fun before we're going too much in details of application. Okay, let me also take this and move sea a little bit out of this layer. Okay, right here we're creating our water, we're creating nice rocks point. It's time to work a little bit on the atmosphere. I'm going to atmosphere and I'm going to open atmosphere editor. So you notice in atmosphere editor, which is very similar to other applications, we have several options. By default, we're using new photometric spectral atmosphere model. And let's have a very nice natural look. If you're looking for more saturated kind of colors, illustration type, you maybe want to switch to standard spectral. You'll notice notification pop up. It just says yes, automatically adjust. And it will change. When we have a little bit more fog on haze, you'll see more significant changes. Okay, till we actually, you know what, one thing I want to do, let's go open main camera. I want to disable after exposure. In this way, with the lighting, it sometimes have confusion is after exposure is enabled. It works in many cases, but I prefer to disable. So let's go back to atmosphere editor, and we'll go to leave it spectral for now. Okay, we'll go to next, and let's go to actually set sun first. Sorry, we'll go select our sun, zoom out, and maybe put it a little bit on the side and lower. I want to have those shadows. This is what make it look kind of interesting, and also bring sun just slightly, you know, maybe down a little bit more right here. So we have a nice, beautiful lighting going on the side. Okay, let's go back to atmosphere editor. Okay, we have a sun tab where we can modify. I adjust manually, but we also can just put it directly numbers in. Okay, we also have a light type, and we already said global radiosity will provide the best result for you. Quality, however, it will take the longer time to render. We also have options to modify light intensity, balance, and ambient. Let's leave them as default, but I do want to modify ambient light color, and we'll just right click, select edit color, and I want to set this a little bit more desaturated cyan, kind of cyanish blue desaturated color, which you'll notice intensify some colors on the sky. And you can adjust more of those colors, play and create real alien looking planet, total unusual colorings. So next we'll go with the sky and fogs. Skip over clouds, we'll come back to this in a second. And the sky and fog, I want to increase aerial perspective. Notice what I do when I'm increasing. It's add more distant haze. So this is one of the best way to create if you have multiple mountains. By increasing aerial perspective, it will create this aerial distance look, so it's look like almost far away. Okay. Next, let's increase a little bit our fog. And you notice right here, add a little bit glowing. And also this is glowing around the sun or in a cloud, so we can just leave this alone for now. And let's look on a decay. So we decrease, make it a little bit more bluish, colder kind of look. Again, more settings of this I have on a Geekatplay channel. You can find very many tutorials that we're going through every properties and explain how it's work, coloring and everything. And it will be exactly the same between Infinity, Extreme, Pioneer, Complete, or other versions will be same properties. So Atmosphere Editor is staying very close to all versions, so you can watch those tutorials and explore more in details as you're interested. And again, if you don't want to just browse around, just keep it here and we will come back to these options and we'll look more in depth in next tutorials. So next, let's go to the clouds. And clouds is what make very interesting look can add. We can add clouds by loading them or just click create new. If we create new, by default we create dark camels, and you notice they look very nice. They added there. However, let's modify them slightly. You can go in very depth of modification of the clouds if you just right click and select edit material or just double time click. And notice right here, material editor, we have all these additional options. Again, this is a little bit more overwhelming on the beginning, and I kind of recommend you to avoid some modifying those materials before you get familiar. However, for this purpose of tutorial, what I want to do, I want to increase altitude on clouds. I want to take density and take all the way to maybe about 1. So it will just create very whispery kind of clouds on right around. Let's pop up details high. So it's add nice kind of twirly things. We'll take cover down so we can see a little bit more sky. Okay, let's pop up altitude variation. We also have an ambient light, so I will bring ambient light a little bit more. So this way we apply this ambient light. You remember right here, we change this a little bit darker. So with a little bit more emphasis on ambient light, we can have it kind of more shapes added to the clouds at this point. Okay. If you think this is a little bit too bright or you want to adjust some stuff, you can always go back to the sky fog. And for example, here we can reduce some ground fog, so it will add a little bit more details. We also can apply a little bit increase, decrease glowing on the clouds or atmosphere spreading glowing, so it's this way. Or if you want to add a little bit warmer look, we can increase decay, and you notice it's add a little bit more yellow, kind of warmer look. I think we're doing very good at this point. One thing before we go to next, notice right here we have a quality boost, and by default it says to 1. Increasing quality boost will remove some grain you will be maybe notice sometimes in the clouds or atmosphere. But again, this comes with a price, increase time on render. So by default, let's set to the 0 at this point. Okay, when we're done, let's go click OK. We're going to our render options. Again, it's a right click with the mouse, and you notice right here, render options. I want to set list final preview. We'll go render to screen, and I will go to set 800 by 450. This is a very small resolution, but for the purpose of tutorials, I want to use it so it would save a little bit on the render time. Let's go click OK, and a left click will start our render. So at this point, you can see the bucketing going, light regeneration, so it's going quite a bit fast even with 2 cores. It's all what we're using in Pioneer version. Okay, and you can see it's kind of fill up quite a bit fast at this point, except some when it was a reflection took time. And now we start rendering atmosphere. Again, I'm going to pause because you can see it says time left 3 hours. It's actually a bit probably faster than that, but I don't want you to stay here and watching for 3 hours how it's rendered. So I'm going to pause this tutorial and come back when render is completed. Okay, so right here we have our render completed, and you can notice we have 20 minutes it takes, so obviously not 3 hours. We have our scenery that second we create inside the Vue with custom clouds, adjusted custom atmosphere effect as well. We create our own rock island and work with some of the materials for this. So hopefully this will provide some inspiration for you to go and explore a little bit more inside the Vue 2015 Pioneer version. And please remember, visit us on the web is www.geekatplay.com, or check on YouTube channel is Geekatplay Studio.